Good morning. Welcome to another Kerfuffle webinar here. Delighted to have Philip and Peter here from Offr. Gents, how are you?
Yeah,
morning, Brian. How are you today? Good. We're all a little bit more optimistic. The world is starting to look a little bit brighter for next year.
It is. I don't know which of the vaccines yet I'm going to choose to go on Kerfuffle, but everything's looking rosy at the moment, isn't it? I'm in discussions for a couple of those. All our Kerfuffle members will obviously be at the top of the list. Even I'm not going to make a shout that ridiculous. No, it's all looking a bit better, isn't it? It's all looking a little bit rosier. So good on that front. And today actually is meant to be very, very cheerful. It's meant to be obviously about a congratulations. This is part of our Ring Around series for us identifying and it being recognised at EA Masters, the top 40 ideas and innovations of 2020, of which has got to be said, because of things like lockdown, there have been a huge amount of them. People have not been quiet. They have been looking at systems and solutions that, help digitally in any time, but especially during this period. You guys in particular actually got in the top 10 in the 2X category, I think, wasn't it, as well? So first of all, congratulations, gents, on there.
Thank you.
Would you mind just giving us a little bit of an overview of the Offr? I know we did our showcase and anyone can obviously see it in more detail there, but just give an elevator pitch as to what Offr's all about.
Yeah, well, Offr is a button that sits on an estate agent's own website and allows their website move from being purely visual to being transactional. So what it ultimately will mean is that estate agents will be able to transact all of their properties through their own website. We've already launched in the UK approximately 10 weeks ago, and we're leading with our online auction products. So ultimately, at the moment, a lot of estate agents who are offering online auctions, and obviously online auctions have become far more prevalent in the last 6 months for obvious reasons. A lot of them are carrying them out through third-party websites. This allows agents to carry out the auctions either individually or on a multi-lot basis, all on their own website in their own branding.
Yeah. And what we found, Simon, is that most of the agents we've been talking to and engaging with, and we've got the first few agents coming on board, there are agents that are saying, look, we think the market could be getting a little bit tougher next year. There could be more distressed stock coming to the market, and they see it as a potential new income stream. And we'll be announcing in the next few weeks our first few agents that are coming on board in the UK. There's a couple of very, very big names that you'll know very, very well. And we're really getting some traction in that auction space at the moment.
What's very interesting, Simon, is we're starting to notice that some of the key firms that we're working with who are looking to commence. We have two types of clients. We have clients who have heretofore have provided online auction services or initially physical in-room auctions and have now migrated to online auctions. Yep. And they want to continue doing that, and they want to improve the service that they're providing. But on top of that, you also have firms who traditionally have only carried out traditional private treaty sales, and they now want to get involved in the auction space. We're starting to see, and this is potentially a trend that may occur in the industry. At the moment in the UK, only between 2 and 3% of properties are sold by auction. Okay, and the key reason for that is that you have most people, well, 40 to 50% at least, have to secure a mortgage or could be involved in a chain. But what is very clear is that people are getting very, very, very tired of the property transaction as it stands. It's lengthy. It's up to 170, 180 days. There's a 1 in 3 chance of it falling out of bed. The beauty of the auction piece is that it delivers certainty. So you have unconditional offers. You have contracts signed digitally within minutes of the auction being completed. And people are where they can are now looking to that as an alternative to deliver that certainty.
I think that's critical, isn't it, really, Philip? To be honest, we're talking a lot here at Kerfuffle about what can be done in this process. How do we stop these pipelines getting stodgy, and how, what are the tools for the job that can actually facilitate that? And definitely having auctions in there and systems like Offr is absolutely key to that, isn't it? In terms of and the other thing is making it easy to onboard. I mean, that was the thing that attracted me about you guys, is that you really thought the whole process through. It's not like you've got to proposition that takes ages to get, to get onboarded, to get set up. Because you've tried and tested this, your minimum viable product was tested over in Ireland, wasn't it? Very, very successfully. You're going to hit the floor running here as you already are.
Yeah, and also what we feel is that apart from the whole auction piece, the traditional sale needs to be restructured. So our view is that to assist the traditional sale or the private treaty sale to complete more quickly, the work needs to be front loaded. So at a much earlier stage, the information gathering piece needs to be done. Bring the vendor or seller on board much, much sooner. Most sellers or vendors have never sold before. They don't know what they're supposed to do. So we're arming and facilitating the estate agent to assist the seller to gather all of their information, to deliver it into a data room for their solicitor to download, to help them to prepare the contracts. The ultimate aim from our perspective is that a contract for sale in a traditional sale will be available at latest at the time the property goes sale agreed. That then allows people to carry out the relevant due diligence much, much sooner. And if the sale is not going to proceed, it can be identified much quicker in the funnel or much earlier in the funnel, therefore allowing people to either go back to market and remarket the property or else to proceed and try and get the sale closed.
Absolutely makes sense. So what you're saying there, Philip, as well as I understand it, is look, everybody or any guru will tell you that you control the controllables. Offr allows you to actually do everything at least you can do to make sure that there's not a delay from your side. Yeah,
what we're trying to do here, we believe we're not trying to tell the agent what to do. We're trying to arm the agent. The biggest challenges for agents in the property transaction is the administration and communication. That's where the delays occur. Why not through digitization? Let's arm the agent. So the ultimate aim from our perspective, the holy grail for Offr, is that by the end of next year, an estate agent in the UK will be able to work 100% remotely. It'll be an agile agent who will be able to carry out a traditional sale, an auction, a letting, or a commercial lease all on their smartphone, so that they can work 100% remotely. That's the holy grail for us. Now it's a big holy grail by its nature is in some cases unattainable. That's our aim. We're aiming big.
Good. Well, that's the moonshot, isn't it? That's the common parlance at the moment we're talking about. And look, they unless you believe those conspiracy theories, we did land on the moon. So you've got to aim big, haven't you? The other point as well is really important here, Philip, as well, and Peter, that look, the agent is absolutely at the centre of everything you do, isn't it? They are in control of the process. This is not like some of the people out here saying, traditional agency is crap, and we see this as a big disruptive wave. You say they're the experts, they control it, they need to be in control of that to make sure they're delivering the service quality back to the vendor.
Yeah, we're arming the estate agent. That's what we're doing, because we believe the estate agent is fundamental to the property transaction. The property transaction is too big and too emotive, and most buyers and sellers are intimidated and need a human interaction to bring them and guide them. And when we felt the idea that Barclays decided to come on board as one of our lead investors, we knew then that we were onto something significant. They saw, because they're on a particular journey too with their borrowers. So from our perspective, that was very, very encouraging.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, you don't get Barclays involved unless it's the very most serious of, they don't take too many gambles, I expect. So they must have seen this as a fairly safe bet.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely. And from our perspective, they've never invested actually in an Irish company before. We've just completed the Barclays Techstars Accelerator program here in London. When I say just recently, about 4 months ago, it because of COVID, it eventually went online. But that was key for us, because 700 companies applied to that and only 10 were approved to attend that course. That was very encouraging for us too. Look, we're in a market. We know our timing is right. We know our product is right. That by itself doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. You have to deliver the product. It's not like downloading an app. You have to show the product to the agents. A lot of agents know they need to change. They're actually not quite sure what they need to do to change. And so there is an education piece, because their expertise, and I fully respect estate agents, because their expertise is in valuing and selling property. It's not managing and designing and developing technology. So we're trying to merge those two. Like the prop tech is one of the last great bastions. Everything else has gone through digitization, whether it be travel or pharma or finance, fintech, etc. Property is one, and it's the biggest asset class in the world, you know.
Of course. And Peter, what you mentioned those agents that are coming on board. What specifically have they seen as? I mean, we've obviously spoke about some of the advantages there. What have they prioritised as the most important factor of Offr to them?
Yeah, well, as Philip just said, these agents come into us two categories. There are agents at the moment that are traditionally private treaty agents. They've never done an auction sale in their life, but because they see the market conditions changing over the next year, 18 months. They see auctions as being a way of developing a new income stream. But a lot of the other agents we're bringing on board at the moment, they are dealing with other auction providers out there in the market at the moment. And as we know, a lot of auction technology is based on sort of what used to happen in ballrooms, 25, 30 years ago. And a lot of the technology out there at the moment is just a little bit dated. And what we're able to provide them with is something that is cutting edge in their brand colors, that sits on their website. They're not having to share fees with other suppliers, and they're finding that very, very attractive. And we're talking to both. We've been talking to some of the largest online agents in the UK at the moment as well as your high street, and also a couple of hybrid agents as well. So we're finding that our product is resonating at almost all levels of the market, at different price points as well.
Yeah, it's not just a niche.
What's Simon, was very encouraging for us also is the large multinational commercial agencies are now starting to use our product as well. So the really, really big agencies, the likes of the CBREs and the Cushmans and those type of and Knight Franks are starting to use our product in different jurisdictions. That's very encouraging for us also.
Absolutely, yeah. They will have weighed at that up very, very carefully, because I know those guys obviously don't go into tech partners without having very carefully thought it through and as part of a coherent strategy. So that's really important. I've got a couple of questions here, guys, from some of the audience here. They mentioned earlier you had that phrase, Philip, in terms of making it transactional. Somebody just asked, what do you mean by making that transactional? Could you just explain that point?
So it's delivered in the form of a button or a panel that appears in the agent's own website. And through this panel, all buyers now can register, upload proof of ID, proof of funds. Before they place an offer, they must be approved by the estate agent before they can place that offer. And the agent decides what level of comfort, as in ID, that they require before they will allow somebody to place that offer. So now, in placing that offer, if it's a traditional sale as opposed to an auction property, they will attach the conditions to that offer. So now the agent has a dashboard, their own dashboard, where they can see offers that are on the table plus the conditions attaching to those offers. Also, then once the sale is completed, so in the auction perspective, once the property is sold, the contracts are signed digitally through DocuSign online by the agent on behalf of the buyer and seller who have given that permission before the auction. So therefore, you now have a binding contract in place within 5-7 minutes. And in relation to deposits, where it applies for auctions, we are integrated with DocuSign. We believe the future is all about integrations, because all of the technologies out there, one of the big problems is they don't talk to each other. The future has to be about them talking to each other. So whether it be CRMs or whether it be, so we've integrations with Onfido, with Matterport, with iSpy 360, with a whole range of companies to facilitate our product. So what it will ultimately mean is that somebody will be able to, a vendor or a seller will be able initially to go online and to start the process of gathering the documentation to create the contracts for sale, move that, then the marketing piece will still take place through the relevant portals, etc. But the actual, we're managing the transaction, not the actual marketing of the property. Yeah. So that's what I mean by the transaction.
Perfect. Absolutely comprehensive answer. And then just a follow-up there, isn't there a very limited market specifically because potential buyers will need to have finance in place? Isn't that more about the fact that, of course, we're talking about getting things ready earlier?
Of course it is. Absolutely. We believe that if the documents are prepared earlier, roadblocks and barriers can be identified much sooner. But just to be clear, we are offering both the auction and the private treaty model. So from that perspective, we're using, our facility allows both conditional sales and unconditional sales. And another example is we've had people who have come to the market with properties selling it traditionally. And then what happens is it builds up, to put it bluntly, it builds up a bit of head of steam, and there's good interest in the property. So what they do then, to close it off, they go best and final, or they hold a private or public auction. So an agent can flip from traditional sale into auction, or if they start with auction and there's no interest, they can flip into traditional sale. They don't have to decide beforehand the method of sale that they use.
Absolutely right. And you were at pains to make sure that came across in that first showcase we did. You're not just an online auctions platform, are you? It's far more than that in terms of being able to facilitate it.
Well, look, as I say, we aim big. For example, our new homes product is available in about 6 weeks' time, which will manage large multi-unit developments of new homes. And also then we have our lettings product coming out at the end of Q1 2021. So that's why we want to cover the entire spectrum. The final piece of the jigsaw will be commercial leases, but that will be much later in 2021.
Very exciting times, guys. Well, just to point out, obviously, thanks again for coming on here, and congratulations to you. We want to make the point, obviously, that if you go on Kerfuffle, you can see more information. You can see the recording of that first obviously showcase we did, where you went into a lot of detail. I think we even actually went through some of the screenshots as well, so you can get a good idea. You can reach out to Philip and Peter, obviously, in the normal places, LinkedIn, on their own website. And, of course, there's a wonderful big pink button on our website saying, I'm interested, contact me. If you click on that, we'll obviously forward on any sort of any queries through to the guys here as well.
Brilliant.
Just want to say thank you once more, and congratulations on the top 40.
Thanks, Simon. Appreciate that. Thanks for your time.